What if I told you that zooming into a simple camping selfie could reveal something so shocking it would make a mother scream in terror? What you're about to see will make you question every photo on your phone. This is not clickbait. This is real. Now, before we dive into this chilling discovery, let me ask you something. How many photos do you have on your phone right now? Hundreds? Thousands? What if I told you that in every single one of those photos, there could be something lurking that you've never noticed? This story begins on what should have been a perfect weekend. Sarah Mitchell, a college sophomore, decided to go on a solo camping trip to Clear Lake, Oregon. She's an experienced camper, loves the outdoors, and her mother Linda had given her blessing for the trip. But here's where things get interesting. Sarah has this habit, and maybe you do too, of taking selfies to document her adventures. She posts them on social media, sends them to friends, keeps memories alive. Innocent enough, right on Saturday evening, around 6:47 p.m. according to the Eye. Timestamp: Sarah takes what appears to be a perfectly normal selfie by her tent. She's smiling. The sunset is beautiful behind her. Everything looks peaceful. Sarah immediately sends this photo to her mom Linda with the message, "Having the best time." The lake is so peaceful. Barely anyone around. Linda glances at it quickly, responds with a heart emoji, and goes about her evening. Normal mother-daughter interaction, right? But here's what's strange. Later that night, around 11 p.m., Linda can't sleep. Maybe it's mother's intuition, maybe it's something else, but she finds herself scrolling back to Sarah's photo. And that's when she decides to do something that would change everything. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? We all zoom into photos. But what Linda saw when she pinched that screen, it defies explanation. And the worst part, Sarah had no idea what was captured in her innocent camping selfie. Before I reveal what Linda discovered, I need you to understand something. This photo was taken with a modern smartphone, high resolution, crystal clear quality, which means when you zoom in, you can see everything. Linda starts examining the photo section by section. The tent looks normal. Sarah's smiling face, normal. The beautiful sunset behind her, normal. But then, she notices something in the background that she hadn't seen before, you see. When Sarah took this selfie, she captured more than just herself and the scenery. In the distance, barely visible to the naked eye, there's the tree line, dark, dense forest stretching beyond the camping area. And that's where Linda's nightmare begins. As Linda zooms into that tree line, her heart starts racing. At first, she thinks her eyes are playing tricks on her. But the more she stares, the more certain she becomes. There's something there, something that shouldn't be there. Now remember, Sarah texted her mom saying, barely anyone around. She felt safe, alone, enjoying nature. But the photo tells a different story. And here's the terrifying part. This was taken at 6:47 p.m. Still daylight, still time for someone to act. Linda's hands are shaking as she tries to make sense of what she's seeing. She zooms in further, and that's when she realizes the horrifying truth. Her daughter was never alone at that campsite. What Linda sees in that tree line is unmistakable. Two pale white shapes that at first glance might look like rocks or fallen logs. But the more she stares, the more human they appear. And they're positioned in a way that suggests they're watching, waiting. These shapes, they look like faces, human faces, partially obscured by the darkness of the forest, but definitely there. and they're all pointed directly at Sarah's campsite. Linda's mind races. Who are these people? How long have they been watching? And most importantly, are they still there now? She immediately tries calling Sarah. No answer. It's now past midnight, so maybe Sarah's asleep. But Linda can't shake the feeling that something is very, very wrong. She tries texting, "Sarah, call me immediately, it's important." No response. Linda's panic is setting in. She keeps zooming into different parts of the photo, hoping she's imagining things. But the more she looks, the more details she notices. And this is where the story takes an even darker turn. As Linda examines other parts of the photo, she notices something that makes her blood run cold. Remember, this is a high-resolution photo, so when you zoom in enough, you can see incredible detail. In the reflection of Sarah's sunglasses, which she's wearing in the selfie, Linda spots something that confirms her worst fears. A shadow. A shadow that doesn't match anything else in the scene. A shadow that looks distinctly human. Someone was standing directly behind Sarah when she took this photo, close enough to cast a reflection in her sunglasses, close enough to reach out and touch her. Linda is now in full panic mode. She's screaming at her phone, trying to reach Sarah when suddenly, at 12:23 a.m., her phone buzzes with a text message from her daughter. The message says, "Mom, why do you keep calling? I'm fine, about to sleep. Talk tomorrow." Normal message, right? But Linda notices something odd about the timestamp and the typing pattern. Here's what Linda realizes that sends chills down her spine. Sarah always uses proper punctuation and capitalization in her texts. Always. She's that type of person. But this message? No capitals, no punctuation marks where they should be. Almost like someone else sent it. Linda makes a decision that probably saved her daughter's life. She calls the local police and explains the situation. Most officers might have dismissed this as a paranoid mother, but Deputy Collins, who's worked these remote areas for 15 years, takes it seriously. Because here's what Deputy Collins knows that Linda doesn't. Clear Lake camping area has a history. 3 unsolved disappearances in the past 5 years. All young women, all solo campers, all last seen taking photos of their campsites. Collins immediately dispatches 2 units to Sarah's location while staying on the phone with Linda. The drive to Clear Lake takes 35 minutes from the nearest station. 35 minutes where anything could happen. At 1:15 a.m., the officers arrive at the campsite. Sarah's tent is there, her car is there, but Sarah is nowhere to be found. The officers call out Sarah's name. No response. They approach the tent carefully, not knowing what they'll find inside. And what they discover explains everything. Sarah is inside her tent, but she's not alone. She's been tied up, with duct tape over her mouth, barely conscious. And crouched, beside her, is a man who's been living in these woods for months, watching campers, waiting for the perfect opportunity. But here's the part that will give you nightmares. When they arrest this man, they find something in his backpack that changes everything. Dozens of photos. Photos of campers taken from the tree line. Photos of people who thought they were alone, in nature. And every single one of these photos shows the same thing Sarah's selfie showed. Faces in the tree line, reflections in sunglasses, shadows that shouldn't be there. This man had been documenting his stalking behavior for years. Sarah is rescued safely, but she has no memory of being attacked. The man had drugged her water bottle hours earlier, which explains the strange text message and why she didn't respond to calls. The case made national news. and Sarah's photo became evidence in linking this predator to multiple other cases across the Pacific Northwest. But here's the detail that still haunts everyone involved. When investigators enhanced Sarah's photo even further, they discovered something that law enforcement still can't explain. In the deepest shadows of that tree line behind the main suspect, there appear to be more faces, more watchers. The man they caught insists he was working alone. To this day, no one knows who or what else was watching Sarah that night. So, the next time you take a photo, especially when you think you're alone, zoom in. Really look at what you've captured. And if you've ever found something unexplainable in your photos, drop a comment below. Because after researching this story, I'm convinced we're being watched more often than we think. Subscribe if you want more mysterious stories that will make you question everything, and hit that notification bell because next week's story involves a family photo that predicted a tragedy 30 years before it happened. You won't want to miss it.